Good afternoon, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Lockout Pinwheel by Raumplaner. And this puzzle looks a little daunting because I think I'm going to have to solve a lot of the grid and then get it disambiguated by a single inequality sign. We'll see how we go. So yeah, lockout lines, really, really cool. What's going on the channel? I'm still hoping people are, there'll be a link to a video below where you can go and recommend or at least upvote recommendations for features for Sven. Don't know how long we'll keep that running for, but yeah, we will get all of that together and then send all of that through to Sven. And then of course, the KG Constraints videos are coming out. We are still working on a new pack, and it's going to be interesting as well. So anyway, let's have a look at Lockout Pinwheel by Raumplaner. So normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. We have lockout lines. Now, lockout lines are a constraint that was come up with a few years ago now by Riffclown and Tallcat. And I love lockout lines, though they can be a little bit tricky. So the way lockout lines rule is numbers along the line must not be between or equal to the numbers on the diamond ends. So these digits cannot be between or equal to these digits in the diamonds at the end of the line. And diamonds must differ by 4 or more for any segment. Now, this is not a line through... These diamonds are not connected because a diamond terminates a segment. So this is one lockout line, and this is a different lockout line where this diamond is shared between the two different lockout lines. There's sometimes confusion about that. And we've got the inequality symbol here points to the smaller number. That's all the rules we've got. So this one's a little daunting. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So I know that none of these cells can be 5. In fact, no cell that is a lockout line can contain a 5. So, and the reason for that is the 4 difference in the cells at the end. So let's use this line as a reason to look at why. So if I was to put a 5 on this line, how would I make those two cells 4 different without having 5 between it? So let's pick any digit, but let's make it as close to 5 as possible and make it a 4. This would have to be 4 different from 5, but I can't put 5 between 4 and whatever this is. So I can't make this higher than 5, because if I made this higher than 5, the 5 would be between it. So I'd have to make it lower than 5. But if I make it lower than 5, this has to be 4 different. And if I subtract 4 from 4, I end up with 0 or less. It doesn't work. And similarly, if I make it 6, so I've got as much room as possible, I have to have another number above 5. And with the 4 difference, I can't make that work because I end up at 10. So you can never put 5 on a lockout line. So because of that, I know one of these 3 diamonds is a 5. Now, there is another interesting trait about 5s, which is because of the 4 difference. If this is a 5, this would have to be a 1 or a 9. If this is a 5, these are both 1 or 9s. If this is a 5, these are 1 or 9. But I'm not sure. So this is 1, 5, or 9 is what I'm learning. Because if this is a 5, this is a 1 or a 9. If this is a 5, this is a 1 or a 9. And if this is a 5, these are both 1, 9. But if this is 5, 1, 9, then this just has to be a different digit that is 4 apart. So this is 1, 5, or 9. But what could I do with that? I could see 5 is in one of those 3 and 5 is in one of those 3. If this is a 5, this would be a 1 or a 9, and this would be a 1 or a 9. Can I disprove this being a 5? If this is a 5, we end up with a 1, 9 here, a 1, 9 here. So let's say that is a 5. These would be 1, 9s, those would be 1, 9s. That would be a 1, 9, and that would be a 1, 9. And none of that looks to be a problem. So I'm not sure what how that would be a problem. If this is a 5, this would be a 1 or a 9. One of these would have to be a 5, but that's okay, because if this is 5, 5, that is just a 1 or a 9. And then one of those is a 5. I am quite confused by this. Because once you've got a 1 or a 9, you've got a lot of freedom. Well, hang on a minute. 3 digits on a lockout line is always a bit of a problem. 4 digits is more of a problem. Because when you've got 4 digits that see each other on a lockout line, then if there was ever a place where there were 4 digits that saw each other on a lockout... Hang on a minute. 3 digits that see each other. No, because you can't have 4... No, you can have 4 digits. I'm out of practice with lockout lines. So if this was a 9, this would have to be 4 different... Or it could be a 5. I could go 5, 5. So the question is, what are these? Because if this was a 5... But if this is a 9, this could be lower than 9. This could go down. Well, actually, it couldn't be a 1 because I'd have to have 2 digits. So let's say this was a 1 or a 9. So let's say this was not a 5. This would have to be 4 different, but it'd have to leave room for 2 digits. So if this is a 9 and I left out 1 and 2, this would be from 3, 4, or 5. That's all it could be. That's if this is a 9. So if this is... So this would have to be from the middle range of digits. And the same would work here. But yeah, if this was a 9, this would have to be 3, 4, or 5. Because it has to be at least 4 different. So it couldn't be higher than 5. And the same if this is 1, then this would be 5, 6, or 7. But then I have to make 3 digits fit here. Now, if this is 3, I could use 1, 2, 9 and make that 8. Or 7. Oh, no, there's so much freedom here. I don't understand. Is it about where the other digits go in box 5? Because if I put a 5 off to the side and put a 9 in the middle, where do I put the 8 in this box? I could put the 8 there. Where would I, if this was a 9, where would I put the 8 in this box? I don't think I could put an 8 in the box, except for possibly there. Because if this was 5, 9, and I made this an 8, whatever I made this, the 8 would be between. Yeah, if I put an 8 here, what could I make this? It'd have to be lower than 9, and the 8 is on it. And the same is true if I put 8 here, this has to be lower than 9. If I put an 8 here, this has to be 4 different. If I put an 8 here, this has to be 4 different. If I put an 8 here, this has to be 4 different. If I put an 8 here, this has to be 4 different. And the 8 will always be broken, so I couldn't put 8 on the line. So I could put the 8 there, but then where do I put the 7? There's nowhere to put the 7, because if I put the 7 there, this has to be 4 different to 9. So this has to be 5 or lower, but then the 7 is between, and the same is true. The 5 has to go, and the logic is exactly the same for the 1. This is the 5, and this is a 1-9 pair. That is cool. Now, these are a 1-9 pair, and these are a 1-9 pair. Okay, it took me a while to see what was going on there. Now, whichever one this is a different 1-9, which means this is the yellow 1-9, this is the blue 1-9. Which means the blue 1-9 is in here. Now, 1 and 9 are remarkably easy to put on lockout lines. Now, wherever the 8 goes in here, if I put an 8 here, wherever I put the 8 is going to have the 1 at the end. And the same is true because these are all different. So the 8, 7, and 6 are going to have 1s. Well, actually, these are also 1 and 9 because they have to be 4 different from 5. So these are also 1 and 9, giving me a 1-9 pair in this row, 1-9 pair in this row, 1-9 pair in this row. I need to put 1 and 9 in here. So yellow is in one of those 3. Blue is in one of those 3. This is interesting. Still haven't figured it out though. But wherever I put the 8 in here is going to have a low, is going to have 1, the same with 7 and the same with 6 because... So what I can say is this, if this is low, the digits on the line have to be high. And this will be the high digit. So these are blue digits. So these are the same high-low as this. These are yellow digits. So they're the same high-low as that. Okay. But I don't know the high-low of these. And I get more freedom on these. So there's no 1, 5, or 9 on this line at all. So the furthest... I've got 4 different here. But I can make them... I can't make them 2, 8. Because if I made them 2, 8... which is 5, no, it's 6 apart, then there's nothing outside of them because I can't use 1 or 9. So these lines are restricted. Because if this is either 3, 8, hang on, so this is either 3, 8 or 2, 7. Because if I put a 4 here, oh, hang on, I could put 4, 8. This could be 4, 8. And then I'd have 2 or 3 available. No, that works. I'm quite confused. How do I figure out which ones these are? There's got to be a way of colouring all of this, because I don't know that these are all the same colour. Because if this is a 1, I would be able to put 9, 8, 7 here, and this could still be a 6. I couldn't put the 9 there, but I could put the 9 there or there, and this still could be a blue. Like if this was a 1 low, these all could be blue. But what would that do to this line? If this was a 6, I could, with 4 different, so is it these lines now? If this was a 6, 4 different, this would have to go back down to a 1 or a 2. I think it would have to go back down to a 1. I need to have 3 digits on here. So if this was a 1, I need to lock out at least 9, 8, and 7. So this has to be 4, 5, or 6, surely. Because if this is a 1, I think it's the same here, with 3 digits locked out, I can't remember my lockout line logic. With 3 digits locked out, 1, I could leave out 9, 8, 7, which means that it'd have to be a 6. And the closest it could be is a 5. So if this is a 1, these would be from 9, 8, 7, and 6. And this would be 5 or 6. If this is a 9, then I could make these 1, 2, 3, which would make this 4. I could make them 2, 3, 4, which would make this a 5. So this is 4, 5, or 6. Now the 4 difference to here. Now remember, again, I've got 3 digits here that need to be locked out. So if this is a 4, this is 1, 2, 5, 8, or 9. No, it can't be 5. This is 1, 2, 8, or 9. Because if this is a 5, I could make this a 2, I think. Actually, I think I've got more freedom than that. Because I may have more freedom than that. Wow, I am way out of practice. 5 is not in any of these. So 5 is in one of those two. 5 is in one of those two. Does that do anything? Don't think so. If that's a 5, that's a 5, which means that's a 5. If that's a 5, that's a 5. And neither of those could be 5. Interestingly enough, if that's a 5, that's a 5, that's a 5, should put 5 in one of those. I feel like these are sort of being forced to be like 159s all around this pinwheel, but I can't see how to force it. Because this could be 1, 9, 8, 7, 6. But what would that do to this line? Because I need 3 different digits on it. But again, I could use 7, 8, 9. And this could be 1 or 2. I can't see how to force this. So this is 4, 5, or 6 for sure. Now, if this is 3, yeah, 3 doesn't work. 3 is too close to all of those. So this is 1, 2, 8, 9. So this is 1, 2, 8, 9. 2 would make that 6. These would be from 1, 7, 8, 9. And 6 here would make these 7, 8, 9. That's this being a 1, these being from 2, 3, 4. No, it's just too much in the head. And the same logic is same in reverse. Like if this is a 9, this could be 4 or 5, and these could be from 1, 2, 3, 4. So does that mean these are definitely blue? Because if this is a 9, even if this is, yeah, I can't put a 5 on the line. So if this is these have to be blue, don't they? But they could include the 9, but they are definitely blue. These have to be blue. Because if this is a 1 and this is a 5, these have to be high. And if this is a 1 and this is a 6, these have to be high. These are blue. So these are yellow. Right, that is absolutely true. But does it change down here? So if this is a 1, these are from 6, 7, 8, 9. Because this has to be 5 or 6. But if this is 6, I could start putting 1. If this is 6, 2, I could add a 1 to this. So I could put a yellow digit on here. And that messes things up. I couldn't there. So that would be a blue digit. So by the same logic, that is yellow. But I can't say for the rest of them. That can't be a yellow because it would be a yellow 1 and it can't be a yellow 1. So that would be a blue digit. That would be a blue digit because it can't be the yellow 1, 9. Because the only yellow digit it could be is 1 because 6, 2 is as far away as I can make them. But these could be a yellow 1. So similarly, that can't be blue, so it has to be yellow because it can't be 5. And that can't be blue, so it has to be yellow. Is that doing something to these? Actually, it might be, you know? Actually, that... Wow, this is crazy. So these... If this was... Oh, it's not quite... But there's 2 blue here now, so these can't be blue. These can't all be blue. Does that mean these have to be yellow? I can't put 5 on them. And they can't be 3 blue. Can I mix up blue and yellow on there? With a 1, 9 start, I don't think you can mess up blue and yellow. This is what I've done everywhere else. Because if I do 1, the furthest away the closest I can make it is 5 with the 4 away. If I make this 1, 5, these, and this is, say, yellow, if this is 1, 5, these all have to be high. If this is 1, 6, they still all have to be high. So this is also 4, 5, 6. This is also 4, 5, 6. If this is 1, 5, these are all the opposite colour. And if this is 9, 1, 6, they're all the opposite colour. So these all have to be blue or yellow. And blue and yellow is only 4 different digits. So because there's 2 blue here, these are all yellow. And that is blue. Blue. And because there's 2 yellow here, these are all blue. And this is yellow. So this is the yellow 1, 9. So the yellow 1, 9 is now in one of those 2. If I could force it there, that would be insane. But these are all yellow. But that's 3 yellows. But they could still just be 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it hasn't forced that at all. Yes, it has, because it sees that. That's a yellow 1, 9. And this is a blue 1, 9. So this is either 6, 7, 8. So this is 5, because this has to be... I can't put the other extreme digit. This can't be 7, 8, 9 or 1, 2, 3. So this has to be 6, 7, 8 or 2, 3, 4. So that is a 5. And the same is going to be true there because of that. That is a 5. Holy cow. Which means that's not a 5 and that's not a 5. This is 4 or 6. Which means... But this, if this is 1, 5, this is the yellow. Because of the 9, this is the yellow 6, 7, 8. So yellow 6 is in here, so this would have to be blue. So this is now, this has to have the blue 1, 9 in it, and it can't be there. That's a 1, 9. Because it has to have the blue 1, 9 in it because they're all 4 colours, and I can't put it there or there because of those. That's the blue 1, 9. And I'm sure this is going to repeat over here because this is a 4, 6, but I have to put the blue 4, 6 in here. So this is the yellow 4, 6. I now have to put the yellow 1, 9 in here, and it's there. This is insane. I've never seen a lockout line puzzle like this. Blue 4, 6, but these are blue. I can't have made a mistake on this. So if this is a blue 6 and these are blue, the only digits I'm playing with are 7, 8, 9. So these are all the blue high digits. So this is yellow. It has to be the opposite colour because there's no 5 available. And it's 1, 2. No. 6. I can go down to 1, 2. I don't know which one it is yet. But if this is 6, this is 1, 2. I still could put a yellow in here. No, I can't. I can't put a yellow there because the yellow 1, 9 isn't available. So this is absolutely blue, but that could be a yellow 1, 9. But they're all the blues, and there's a blue in here, which is not a blue 1, 9. I need to put a blue 1, 9 in here. And it's there. That's a blue 1, 9 because of those. So there is a 1, 9 in here. Which makes sense. Yeah, there had to be. So this is a 7, 8, 9. This is a 7, 8, 9. It has to be a 7, 8, 9 or a 1, 2, 3. So this is either a 2, 3 or a 7, 8. This is 2, 3, 7, 8 of the opposite of what that is. So if this is 9, 8, 7, that's 1 or 2. And this is the same? Because here's the blue 1, 9. So this has to be 2, 3, 7, 8, doesn't it? Because if this is 6... No, I could still put the yellow 1, 9 there. But this now has to be yellow. And I think that is the yellow 1, 9. Because this has to be... It's the same logic. This is the yellow 1, 9. These are... And these are 2, 3, 7, 8. But I'm not sure which ones. How am I going to get onto this line? Yellow 1, 9 is... This is crazy. So this can't be 5 and it can't be blue. So this is absolutely yellow. And with a 4 difference, this has to be blue, doesn't it? Yeah, it has to be blue. So this is blue. And this has to be yellow or 5. That's it, isn't it? If it's 5, this is higher than 5. Yeah, that's it. If this is 5, this is higher than 5, making blue the high digit. And if this is yellow, this is higher than yellow, making blue the high digit. So this is either higher than yellow or higher than 5. If it's higher than yellow, blue is high. And if it's higher than 5, blue is high. That's 6. That's 9. That's 1. That's 1. That's 1. That's 9. That's 9. These are 7, 8. This is 1, 2. This is 9. This is 1. This is 4. This is 1. This is 2, 3. This is 9. This is 9. Now, I'm actually going to swap the colours over. So I'm going to select all the blue and make them purple. I'm going to select all the yellow and make them blue, and then I'm going to select all the purple and make them yellow. That way I'm using my normal coloring. So these are 2, 3, 4. These are 7, 8. This is 7, 8, I think, because it has to be it has to be outside. It can't be 5. It has to be, it can't be 1, and it has to be outside the range of 6. So if this was a 2, it would have to be 7, 8, or 9, and it can't be 1 or 9. Yeah, it's 7 or 8. So 1 in this box. No, it could be there. That still could be 1. So these are 6, 7, 8. This is 6, 7, 8, isn't it? That's not a 9 anymore. 2, 3 means that's not a... Oh, that's just an 8. Is that right? Yeah, that's just an 8, which makes that a yellow digit. Why do I have that but not that? Because of the 9. Why do I have that 9 but not that? I do have that. That's blue. That's a 1. So that's a 2. I'm going to trust my pencil marks here. Outside the range of 4 and 8, these are 1, 2, 3, and 9. So that's 1, 2, 3. It's not 1, so this is 2, 3. This is 2, 3, or 9. They're the only possibilities. These are 6, 7, and 8. They're the only possibilities. And this is a 4, 5 pair. It has to be 4, 5, which is less than 6, 7, 8. Now, this has to be 4 different from that. So it could be anything up to 4. So it's 2 or 3 only, actually, because 1 and 4 are not available. So this could be 1. It could be 2. It can't be 1, actually. So this is 2, 7, 8. Can't be 9. And if it was anything else, then it wouldn't be outside the range of those digits. It can't be 8, so it's 2 or 7. That's interesting. Maybe. Okay. So these are 2, 3, 4. There's no 2 there. There's no 8 in either of those. That's a 6, 7 pair. So without there being an 8 there, that hasn't restricted that at all. 3, 7 is still 4 apart and would allow that to be a 2. 2, 6 would allow that to be 7. 2, 7, that would be nothing. So this is either 2, 6, 7 or 3, 7, 2. So there must be a 2 in one of those and there must be a 7 in one of those. So this is now restricted. This must be a 2, 3 pair, but there must be a 2 over here. So that's the 3. That's the 2. So that's the 7 and that's the 6. That's the 2. That's kind of cool. That's the 7. There's no 7 there. That's really cool. I'm terrified I'm making mistakes here because this puzzle is tricksy. The 3 makes that the 2. That's a 9 now. So that is the yellow 9. So this can't be 6, 7, 8, or 9. It can't be 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the blue 1. This is 5, 6 to offset the 4, 5 up here. Surely I can do similar here. This has to be, no, that could be a 5. Except, no, it can't be. So this is a high digit. and it's an 8 because it sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. That's an 8. So that is a high digit. 4 apart from that, it's a 3 or a 4, giving me a 3-4 pair, that being a low digit. So outside is 1, 2, 3, or 9. It can't be 2. And it can't be 1. This is 3 or 9. It can't be a 9. That's the 3, so that's the 4, that's the 3. This is so clever. Took me a long time to get started. This is now a 2 by Sudoku for the row. These are 3, 4, and 5. There's no 5 there. This is really tricksy. 1 and 6 go into those. The 1 makes that the 6 and that the 1, which I can colour, low and high. These are 7 and 9, which are both high. And that's the 7 and that's the 9. This triple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There's no 8 there. There's no 7 there. Well, we knew that these were high digits. Maybe I should have looked at these earlier, because these were always 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 6, 7, 8, giving me a 6, 7, 8 triple, which makes that the 5. And that the 6, which is the high digit. Makes that the 4, which is the low digit, and that the 5. These are, of course, I've got to get... I keep trying to do colouring by keyboard, and it's a little tricky. The 6, of course, makes that the 8, so that's the 7, taking the 7 out of those. The 8 takes 8 out of there. The 8 makes that 6, which takes 6 out of there. 6 looks up making that 7, that of course being a high digit, which makes that 8. Got to put a 4 in here. Not sure. This is surely low, right? Yes, because it's the 5 and 9. These are low, and they are 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are not 1. That's not a 3. So this is 2, 3, or 4 for the column. 2 is not in any of those. So 2 is in one of those two. Okay. Now, this is outside the bounds of 1 and 5. So that's the high digit. So that's the 6 or the 7, which is the high digit. This is the low digit, which can't be 1, 2. So it's 3 or 4. So 2 is in one of those two. Still missing a beat here. 5 isn't here. This is just an 8 by Sudoku. So these are 5 and 6, and I'll use that 6 to make that the 5 and that the 6, which is the high digit. This is now not the 5. This is the 5. So this isn't the 5. This is the 5. So this is now the 7, because that's all that's left in the column, which means this is the 6. This is the 7. This is now the 4, which is the low digit, taking 4 out of those. This for the row is the 6, which is a high digit. This is 3 or 4, which is a low digit. This 6 looks up making that 8 and that 6. The 8 looks down making that 7 and that 8. The 5 looks down saying that's not the 5, so that's the 5. This is a pair. 4 and 9. The 9 looks up making that the 4 and that the 9. This is probably a GSP puzzle, and I probably could have used that, but I didn't. That's the high digit. These are 1 and 3, which first of all I'll mark as both low, and then I'll put in the 3 and the 1 because I had that looking up. The 4 looks down making that the 3, which makes that the 2, and that the 4, which makes that the 3, that the 4. That becomes a 2. 2 and 4 come out of that, making that the 3. The 4 looks down making that the 2 and that the 4. I'm going to do these first because these are both low. The 3 looks down making that the 4 and that the 3. The 3 looks up making that the 2 and that the 3. And that is the correct solution. 37 minutes and 9 seconds. I've been sent some doozies recently. The thing is, I've not been getting a lot of submissions in the last few weeks, so I've been having to go through some of the older puzzles in my queue, and the reason there've been older puzzles in my queue is because the testers have said, These are harder and you may want to do them when you've had more time. So I've had to put some time aside for them, but it means that I normally try and mix in the longer puzzles with the shorter ones, but I haven't had a lot of shorter ones come through. So submit or recommend, please. Yeah, but wow. Raumplaner does amazing. Lockout lines are just amazing, but I think you'd need to understand lockout lines pretty well to be able to get through that one. That was really cool, though. Once again, I know there'll be people who say 20 minutes. Why did you find it so hard? I just did. This is me solving. Thanks everyone for watching. That was nuts. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for solving. It's just great to see everyone interacting. Of course, I hope you're enjoying the KG Constraints videos, and of course, check out the Let's Improve SudokuPad or Help Improve SudokuPad video, and see if you can help contribute to a coming feature for SudokuPad. Thanks everyone, and as always, good luck with your solving.